So the gist of this little hack that I'm doing is, instead of putting the wristlet, the D-ring here on the side for attaching the wristlet, the question has been asked, can't it be done on the top so that we can put them on both sides and have it as a crossbody? Well, this is what I'm going to be doing. We'll see if it works out. I think it's going to. I'm making another one, and I'm just using this as an example. So the gist of what I want to do is I want to take my little piece here and put it through use that little hole that's here and put this through there, and I'm just going to use one rivet to hold it in. And I'm going to do that on both sides. So the next part that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you why it's so important to make sure that my zipper is put in properly at the ends. So I want to put, I just have a piece. This is really rough. This is not a measurement of anything, but all I've done is I've done a tri-fold piece, folded it in half. And I think even something this simple will work, especially if you're using vinyl. So I'm going to just take this D-ring, I'm going to slip it through there. So I'm going to want my finished measurement of this, and I'll do it properly when I actually get to the one I'm working on. But I want this 1/2 inch, because 1/2 inch is the inside measurement of the little D-ring that I'm using. So in order for me to be able to slip this in here, I need this piece wide enough. And right now this one isn't wide enough because I wasn't concerned with doing it that way. So so it's going to be hard to stuff this in here. I mean, it can be done. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so this is what I want to end up with basically, and then just put a rivet through the whole thing and it'll hold it there. So that's the objective. Now onto the piece that I'm working on right here. So I've gotten to the point where I have my slip pockets sewn on. I'm just starting to put my zipper in. So when I'm clipping this in here, I want to line everything up. I have my zipper ends, I have everything trimmed off here so it's nice and straight. And this I want to pull down. Don't let it sit up. Make sure that that is pulled nice and flat against this seam. And I need to make sure that I do that on both ends. Now, I should, to do it the long way and the precise way, I would baste that in first, and I could do that. Again, I'm fairly comfortable with doing my zippers, so I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm going to start on this end. Now I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam and see how that goes, as opposed to anything deeper than that. Because I think I'm using a wider zipper, so I think if I use a 1/4 inch seam, I should end up, ideally, I would have 1/2 inch in between my two seams from my the two sides of it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that together. So I've cut a little piece. I just grabbed a scrap. It's plenty long. That's fine. You can figure it out exactly how long you want it. I just grabbed a piece. What I did do, measuring, is I cut this piece at 1 3/8 inches. Now this is what I'm going to be using for my D-ring tabs. The way I came up with 1 3/8 3/8 is I want to go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/8 of an inch. And that's how I want to fold it. So I've just really got light little marks here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go fold it over 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to bring it over 3/8 of an inch. Then when I end up folding it over like this, now I can top stitch that, that's no problem, just on each side. And then when I fold it over, there won't be any raw edges. You won't be able to see any raw edges anywhere. That's not, there we go. Anywhere inside there. Not that it's a big deal, because it mostly will be hidden anyway. But that's how I came up with that. So I'm going to just fold this and I'm going to top stitch on both edges. So what I'm left with is just my little piece. It's a 1/2 inch wide. And this is the back of it. This didn't catch when I was sewing, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to be within. I just don't want to be able to see on this edge. I don't want to see the raw edge there. So, and once it's folded, you won't be able to see any raw edges. It'll be almost completely hidden anyway. But again, just slip that little D-ring through there, and that fits really nicely. So all I have to do now is I'm just going to kind of cut a couple of pieces. I do have my, lift you up here. There we go. So I have my zipper put in. This is really quite wide. I could have gone probably with a 3/8 inch seam allowance and still had enough room, but I'd rather have it wider. So I've got about 3/4 of an inch actually. So what's going to happen is once this is all put together, I'm just going to put this in. I'm going to sew my side seams first because I can do this later. With the zipper open, I can get in there to do the rivet, but this is what I'm going to end up with. So if everything goes well, I'll just have those little things sticking out. Well, I have to admit, I'm starting to believe in my own brilliance. I'm really liking the way this looks. So I've got my little loop here, my little D-ring, and it's just riveted in. And on the inside, and I'm going to show you how I did all of this, but this is what it looks like on the inside. So I have no raw edges, and I'll just show you how I did that. But I'm quite happy with this. I think this is the way that I'm going to be doing mine. I only have one of my swivel clasps. That's what I'm looking for, in black or in the gunmetal. So I have to wait till I get my order in. So, but this is the way it's going to be. So even if you did just as a wristlet, you could do this on one end, and it would look great. I think. I think it holds it really nice and secure and everything. So, okay, now I'll get back to how I did this. So I still have some of this left over, and so I'm going to put my D-ring on there. What I'm measuring or gauging is I need a little bit for a seam allowance so that I can sew these together, because this is how I do with an unfinished, or with no unfinished edges. With everything so tucked up in here, I don't know if it's really super important not to have any raw edges, but that's the way I like to do things, to have everything finished. So this is the way that I'm going to show it to you. I'm sorry I could have used something that was lighter color, but I just happened to be making this for myself. I went to go catch a ride with somebody else, and I just wanted my my phone and a little bit of money, and I'm looking everywhere, and of course the only ones that I have are the ones that I have for sale, so I didn't want to use any of those. And I just love this. This is some new vinyl that I got, and I really like it, so, as well as my lining fabric. But okay, back to the hack at hand. So I have my little piece here. Now I know that I want this sticking out a little ways. So I'm going to take that little loop where that is. This is about 1/2 inch here. So I don't want it coming on the inside. I don't want it coming past that. So I'm going to take this little loop, 1/2 inch, and then probably about another 1/4 inch for my seam allowance. So that's what I'm doing. I have my loop. I'm going to take an additional 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to sew it there because I can just trim it off. So I can mark my line if I want, and then I'm just going to sew that. So I'm going to have my right sides together. Now there's not much difference. This does have the little raw edge here. So I want my right sides together, and I could flip this around and do my measurement that way as well. So pinch that, so I know that's where it's going to go. Take another 1/2 inch, and I'm not going to worry about this. Just for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to just mark. So I'm just going to sew this. Now, when I'm sewing, I'm going to start in the center, back stitch, come forward, and then back stitch to the center, because I'm actually going to turn this around, and if I don't back stitch on both sides, then when I go to turn it, my stitching is going to pull out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I've got my seam here, and I'm just going to trim it off because I don't need that much. I'm sitting at a little better than 1/8 inch. So now I'm going to be careful. I don't want to reef on this too much either, but I'm just going to flip this around. And I'm going to turn my little D-ring. So this is what I have. Now I have my seam allowance is on the inside, right there, and the rest of it is, I've got my good top stitching on the outside. Now I'm not going to pinch this with my seam right here. I'm just going to roll it a little bit, and I'm going to pinch it there. So this is going to be underneath, so I don't have to see it. So now I have just a little loop with my D-ring on it. I have no unfinished edges anywhere. Now I'm going to take, with this, again, this is just me being picky, but where my little seam is, I'm going to have that upwards so that I can't see it from the inside. And I'm just going to tuck this in here, and I can grab it from the other side until it's nice and flush. So again, see that there? So it's just sticking out. And on the inside, it's there. Now I've got quite a few layers to go through. I'm using a medium, I think it's the post on it I think is 9mm. I'm not positive on that, but I just know that for this thickness, my mediums will work well. Now I'm going to take my pliers, my plier style punch, and I'm going to go in. And now I'm going to go underneath. I can't really show you that, but I'm going to make sure that I'm through all of my layers. I'm going to center my hole the best I can. Now I'm actually even going through my plastic zipper teeth because I didn't allow for that, but that doesn't matter. So goes through everything. These suckers are sharp and they are very good. Okay, so going to thread my post through the top or bottom. It doesn't really make any difference. I can feel it poking through, and it just pokes through, and that is fine. As long as it reaches the top, that's all that matters. I'm going to get my cap, and you can kind of feel it when it pinches together. It's going to hold there well enough to get it into my press. And so now I've got my press here. I'm going to get all of these layers. Going to get it sitting in there. These presses do not require a tremendous amount of pressure. There we go. And there you have it. So I've got my clematis with rivets on both ends, and I've got either I can do a wristlet on one side or the other, depending. You can do this just with one as well if you only want a wristlet and don't want the shoulder strap. Or this is way overkill. This is the wrong strap, but I just happen to have one here. This is way bigger hardware than I would ever use for something like this too, but I can do my strap on both sides as well. So there it is, my latest hack. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it works for you as well as I think it's going to work for me, and let me know how it goes. Thanks for joining me again.